Hi, today we are filming inside the commission chambers at City Hall, and behind me you'll see the pictures of 38 mayors who have served the city of El Dorado dating all the way back to 1917. Now, of course, El Dorado was incorporated in 1871, so there are a few that are missing, but nonetheless, 38 mayors on the wall right here in City Hall. So sometime, if you're looking for a fun trivia point, or you're just kind of interested in who's served as mayor, come on down to City Hall and check out these great pictures of our history. On Monday, the City Commission met and had a couple of items of business. The first being a presentation from an appraiser from Martin's Appraisal regarding the Civic Center. So today I was going to give you a quick overview of that appraisal so you kind of understood what the commission received in terms of the report. So the appraiser, Chris Huffman, provided a range of values that the Civic Center is potentially valued at. The first of these values was a minimum supported market value of $1.25 million. The maximum market value that could be supported was $3.445 million, and the most probable market value was $1.95 million. So quite a substantial range there, but based on a number of factors that Mr. Huffman laid out during the meeting. Most specifically, these factors included the fact that the building was actually built very well and has been well maintained by the city during its ownership by the city. Secondarily, the building was kind of difficult to actually value, and that's because there aren't a lot of buildings like that in our region, specifically that are event center spaces and that are owned and operated by a government entity. As they look at comparables, they have to look at buildings that are close not only to the use but also the type and quality of building as the building that they're looking at. So there's not a lot of comps, but they were able to find enough comps to provide a range of valuations that we presented, or that was presented to the commission. So again, the building could be worth anything from $1.2 million all the way up to $3.4 million, depending on the buyer and depending on different market conditions. So now the City Commission will meet again on March 29th, which will be a work session to discuss next steps for the conversation concerning the Civic Center. This meeting is open to the public, so you're more than welcome to come down to City Hall and listen in on the conversation. We will be talking about a process and probably some options for the City Commission to consider as it continues to deliberate the future of the Civic Center. Another thing the City Commission did on Monday's meeting was they accepted the downtown master plan produced by Main Street and referred it to the Planning Commission. They took this formal action for a couple of reasons. Number one, to provide direction and guidance to the Planning Commission with respect to reviewing the document. So there's a formal path forward to get the document reviewed. The Planning Commission will accept the document and will review it to ensure that it is compatible with the existing comprehensive plan, and assuming there's no challenges or problems there, it will be incorporated as a city plan for future reference. And so one of the things that we are starting to do is having the City Commission refer items to the Planning Commission formally, so the Planning Commission has clear direction on what it is that the City Commission wants them to look at and review. On Monday, the City Commission also referred the temporary and off-site signage regulations to the Planning Commission for review. So they will conduct a public hearing. They'll also discuss changes to these two components of the signage regulations to determine if any changes are needed. We've received a number of comments from the public, specifically with temporary signage, and we also thought it would be appropriate to look at off-site advertising because we have some situations that we need to address as well. So what this means is that the public will have an opportunity to provide input with respect to these two different kinds of signage regulations. We'll keep you informed on when the public hearing will be, so that if you're interested in these regulations, you can provide your input in terms of what you think changes should be for the benefit of the community. One thing that we're going to be doing, as I've mentioned, is the City Commission will be referring matters formally to their advisory boards. And again, that's to provide clear guidance and direction to these advisory boards. So in essence, they have boundaries on what they need to be reviewing. So it minimizes the amount of time that they have to spend on a wide variety of subjects. They can focus on what the City Commission wants them to focus on. And secondarily, it also provides a layer of transparency to the public, so the public understands what it is that the City Commission is doing and what it is their advisory boards are working on as well. Also on Monday, the City Commission appointed its 1 cent sales tax committee. This committee is charged with preparing a recommendation for a ballot question concerning the 1 cent sales tax that comes up for election every 5 years. So this committee has a lot of important work to do in the coming months as it looks to review our current sales tax formula and make a recommendation on potential changes that may be necessary. The following people were appointed to serve on the 1 cent sales tax committee: Bill Rinkenbaugh, Matt Jacobs, Jordan Buxton, John Steinbacher, David Sundgren, Craig Hamilton, Brett Remsburg, Lori Gioso, Ross Stump, and Edward Wilson. So these folks will begin their work very soon as we begin to prepare a recommendation for that ballot question. Now, bear in mind that the process will be delineated on our website. You can follow along. We'll have all of our supporting documents, presentations, right there on the website, so members of the public can kind of follow along the information and kind of learn about what is being discussed. And they'll also be able to follow along with the process. So our goal is to have a ballot question recommended to the City Commission before July 17th, which will be the deadline to get a ballot question on the City Commission's agenda for final approval so that it can get on the general election ballot in November. So again, there's a lot of work ahead of us. Stay tuned, because this is a very important issue that comes up in our community every 5 years. And it's something that people in the community are very attuned to as we begin to discuss potential changes to the sales tax. Well, I think that's all I got for this week on Things to Know. Y'all have a safe weekend, and we will see you next week.